Have you ever wanted to just smack your best friend across the face? Figuratively, of course. Alright, I'm talking about board games and competitiveness, alright? Now, when I play, me and my friends, while we do like to sometimes just do the thinky stuff, every now and again you just gotta give your bestie 5 knuckles to the chin. And here are the top 5 games in my collection which allow me to do so. Starting off my list is a game called Room 25, probably the least known on there. Now this, if you've ever seen a movie called Coup, probably not many of you have, but this is pretty much that in a box, okay? Theme is that you and some other contestants are in a game show where you're in a center room and you're going through a series of rooms in a grid trying to find the one that will let you free, okay? Here's real quick how it plays. Room 25 is played on a 5x5 grid of tiles. All tiles except for the starting tile here will be face down and will need to be flipped over. The object of the game is to get your player or your token into room 25. Discover and escape in room 25. Now the variation I like to play this game, you'll have 2 teams. You'll select it secretly on these tiles here. It'll be 4 players trying to escape to room 25 and 2 players trying to eliminate at least 2 of the other players. Now there's 4 things you can do on your turn. This is a programming game, so you can take your tile, you're going to select what move you want to do and put action next to there, and on your turn you flip it over and do what it says. Right? The 4 different actions are moving rooms, pushing somebody in a room you're in into another room, peeking secretly at an adjacent room so you know what's in it, or you can slide a row of rooms and completely change the layout of the cube. Now, what gets this so mean is you're trying to figure out who's who, making alliances, figuring out, but you got to be cautious who's who and what's what. And just when you think you're about to escape because you and your friend here have teamed up and you're 1 move away from making the exit, she decides to turn on you and push you into a room that just happens to be filled with acid. True, there are other ways to play, but really the 6-player variant with those 2 undercover people is the best way. And what makes it so mean is that you can be so close and you think you know who your team is, you think you know who the traitors are, and you're right there, you may be 1, 2 squares away about to go on their turn, and then someone just shoves you right into that vat of acid, killing you off, and you don't make it, alright? Now that is mean. Next up we've got Sudo, a simple tile-laying game. But underneath that simplicity is a layer of cruelty that I think you'll appreciate. Sudo is a very simple tile-laying game. On your turn, you're going to grab a tile. Tiles look like so. And you will place them on the board and have your piece follow along. All right, players will take turns doing so. Although the meanness comes in because on your turn, if a player puts a tile in front of them, but it's in front of you as well, they're going to continue along their path, but you also have to follow that path wherever it takes you. No, I think it's the fact that someone else is forcing you to fly off the board and you've got no control over it that makes it just mean enough to be on this list. Now, in a lot of games, it feels like the dice are punching you in the face. Well, in this game, you get to use the dice to punch your friends in the face. Check it out. In King of Tokyo, you get to play as your favorite multi-meal brand kaiju, such as Gigazor or the King, in attempts to control the city of Tokyo. 2 ways to win. You can get 20 points, the boring way, or you can eliminate all other competitors. Now, this is a Yahtzee-style game in which you're going to have your dice, you're going to roll, keep what you like, and re-roll the rest a couple more times. Now, things you can do on the dice are, if you roll numbers 1, 2, or 3, if you get 3 of a kind of those numbers, you're going to get points. if you roll these lightning bolts, you're going to get what we have termed energon cubes, all right? And you turn these in to buy power-up cards, things you can do with powering up. They'll either help you do damage or get more points, like eating some National Guard members here, get you a couple more points. Get that Fire Blast, you can do extra damage when you attack. And having a giant brain helps you re-roll more. If you roll hearts, you get to heal damage done, but most importantly, you roll hits, you get to smack around your opponents. All right? So everyone will be starting with 10 health. Every time you hit them, they're going to knock down until they get to 1, and they're eliminated. So roll as many hits as you can. If you're outside of Tokyo, you can only hit who's in. But if you're inside Tokyo, you get to smack everybody else up. Now looking at my shirt, you might think I'm a Gigasaur player, but nah. Christmas tree monster all the way. Now what makes this not number 1 on the list is probably because you feel like as a big monster you're able to defend yourself, so it's not that mean, but still plenty cool. Sometimes it's best to work together to escape the zombie hordes. Other times you gotta push your friend into a horde of zombies so that you can hightail it from store to store in Mall of Horror. Now, I've always hated the mall, and Mall of Horror does not help that. Now, in this game, you will be hiding out in a mall in different store locations, hiding from zombies in an effort to survive. That is the object of the game. Now, how it plays is everyone will have teams of different players here, different pawns, worth different amounts of points. And you're going to have these in different areas. All right? At the beginning of a round, you're going to roll dice. That's going to determine where the zombies are going to go. You're going to keep that a secret. Then you're going to use your little wheel here to say which room one of your characters is going to run into. Then you decide, and everyone makes somebody run somewhere. All right? Then we are revealed, and the zombie hordes come. All right. Now, once there are more zombies in a location than players, or than pawns, I should say, then we're going to have a vote, and you're going to keep that a secret here. You're going to put your wheel on who you're going to vote for, and whoever is voted out gets thrown out, so the zombies eat that pawn, and then, their hunger is sated for at least a little bit. Eventually, locations are going to close down, making things even tighter, and you're going to be negotiating and trying to work together to eliminate different pawns. There are some items in the game, the baseball bat here, which lets you get rid of a zombie, but those are very few and far between. Different pawns have different powers, like this guy here with the baseball bat. He can repel an extra zombie, so keep in mind what their abilities are and how many points they're worth. Once enough locations are covered and enough people have been munched on by zombies, then the helicopters come and they're going to take away whoever is still surviving. Now looking at these point totals, whoever has the most points in this situation will be the yellow team. They're going to win the game. Now I like this game so much I made its own video on my top Halloween games. And another part I like about this game is the pettiness and the bitterness grows so much that sometimes people will be so skewed that they will make moves that doesn't even really help them just to get revenge over someone that caused their other characters to be eaten. And it's definitely mean. And before I go to the number 1 game on the list, here's a few quick shout-outs. All right. Coup, a game about deduction or deceiving people and lying. You got your secret identities you want to hide, and you're eventually slowly eliminating all your opponents until you're the last one. So, the player elimination and lying, it's a pretty mean game, pretty popular. Still holds up, I think. It's a good one to check out. We've got, the original mean game, right? Munchkin. Okay. Now, this Munchkin gets a lot of flack. I still think it's pretty fun, but there's a lot of meanness that can be had in this box. Oh, nothing better than convincing the whole crew to gang up and attack one person so that they can't win the game, right? And lastly, I've got one that I've never even heard of till I picked it up at a thrift store, and that is Rush and Bash. Now, this is pretty much Mario Kart, the board game, okay? You are racing around on a track, you're shooting missiles at each other, you're throwing bombs. Every player has special abilities that you're trying to build up so you can let it go, all right? So lots of attacking, smashing, pushing people in the borders, knocking them out the race, knocking them back to the end, all right? Rush and Bash. If you like Mario Kart and you want a nice simple game to have some fun with, give this one a try out, all right? On to that number one. Now, let's be honest, when you saw the title of this, you knew that this was going to be the game, okay? This is definitely one of the meanest games of all time. In fact, it is just notorious in certain game groups. Let's check this one out. In Survive, Escape from Atlantis, your objective is to get your pawns here from this sinking island to the shore of safety. All right, and at the end of the game, you count up the points. At the bottom, there's different point values. For example, this little pawn here is worth 3. All right? So on your turn, you are going to have 3 movements. Now you can move all of your pawns 1 space, 1 pawn, 3 spaces, or a pawn 2 spaces, and then 1. You're also going to remove a tile and do what it says. Now if you have pawns on a tile, when you remove it, they are now stuck swimming in the water. And when you remove a tile, you're going to turn it over, and you will have various things to happen. For example, this one, you're now going to spawn a shark there, which is going to eat up that 3-point pawn, plus that poor green guy who was just minding his own business. And then also, you're going to have this die here. You're going to roll that die, and on that you're going to have sharks, whales, and sea creatures. Now, sharks, when they move into a spot, you're going to eat a pawn. Sharks cannot eat anyone that's on a boat. That's where whales come in. Whales, they don't eat people, but they sink the boats and cause everybody to go in the water to then be eaten by the sharks. And these guys here, they do both. Doesn't matter if you're on a boat, they're going to sink it and eat you anyway. Now, I think it's the fact that you have so many meeples and they're just constantly being eaten, and just slowly you're watching your possible points dwindle down throughout the game that make it just so soul-crushing. Still, though, this is one of my absolute favorite games. I'll never turn down a play. I highly recommend it. All right, these are the 5 meanest games in my collection. What do you got? What do you think I should play? What do you pull out when you just want to smack somebody around a little bit? All right, this is Coach Troy. I'll see y'all next time.